Hello, Brantford. My name is Robert Williams. I'm one of the members of the team participating in the City Council Governance and Employment Status Review and Ward Boundary Review. This video is talking about the scope of the project, what it is we're actually doing over the next few months in Brantford. This screen reminds you of the process that you can follow to provide your input, your comments to what we're doing. It's material that we've included in the other introductory videos, but it's repeated here. LetsTalkBrantford.ca and follow the links there. You'll be able to read the background research reports and complete a survey. The goal, of course, is to get some comments from you about the matters that we are talking about in this review, and please join in the various opportunities that are provided there. You can send us your feedback through the clerk's email that's on the screen, as well as letters or telephone calls. So let's move on. This is information that I believe has been shared already, but please make use of that. So where are we now? What's actually happening in this project? Well, the starting point, of course, is that Brantford has an election system in place that includes 11 members of council. That is, there is a mayor who is elected at large, which is the standard arrangement across all Ontario municipalities, and there are 10 city councillors. Those councillors are elected in 5 wards, so therefore it's a system of 2 members per ward with 5 wards. It's those last 3 bullets, if you will, that form part of this particular review. The arrangement that is in place is then to use these 5 wards that were put in place for the 2014 election. They are developed around a number of principles that we'll talk about in the ward boundary review itself. But of course, the current map of Brantford is a little different than it was when the wards were designed, because there has been territory, especially along the northern part of the city, that has been brought in from the county of Brant. So why have the discussion now? Well, a couple of things lead to that. First of all, there have been no major changes to Brantford's electoral structure since the mid-1930s. That is, Brantford, for all of that time, has had a system of 5 wards, each electing 2 councillors. Those ward boundaries have changed over time, but it's essentially the same structure. 10 members, 5 wards, 2 per ward. The population of the city, of course, has grown even since 2013, when the last boundaries were put together. The population estimate now is about 106,000. Again, creating a change that is not happening directly across all parts of the city. So as I mentioned before, the city has expanded through the annexation of lands from the county of Brant, and that has to be factored into the way the city is laid out. There will be some population growth there, other changes happening. And part of that, and this is a matter of provincial policy as well as the city's own approach, the population is expected to grow significantly over the coming decades, as high as 165,000 people in another 30 years. So we're trying to address those kinds of changes in this review, and we'll talk a bit about that in a moment. All of this is happening now because arrangements need to be in place for the next municipal election in October 2022. Those changes need to be established by the end of 2021. So in this phase 1, there are a number of what we're calling key questions that we need to address around the composition of council, that is the number of councillors, and employment status that's also been added on. How many councillors should there be? As we said, there have been 10 for a very long time. Is that the right number? Is the system of two councillors per ward the right arrangement for Brantford today? It's again been a practice for a long time, but we need to address that. And of course, related to that is, when we've answered the other 2, the question of how many wards there are follows out from that. But those are all intertwined around the idea of 10 councillors, how many wards. The related question that has come out of that is whether the kinds of demands made on counselors can really be met by people who are serving full-time, or sorry, by people who are serving part-time. And we want to look at the implications of that for governance in Brantford. Again, we will talk about that in one of the other videos. The other bigger question is whether wards are still the appropriate way to elect city councilors in Brantford. It has been the practice for a long time, but there is another alternative method where basically all councilors are elected across the whole city. So we want to talk to you and hear from you about whether that is a direction that the city needs to consider. So basically, those are the key issues that we're dealing with in phase one in that screen. So let's make sure your comments are captured. Please use the formats that are here, working through LetsTalkBrantford.ca, where there is background material and a survey. There are ways of joining the conversation there and communicating with us through the clerk's department by email, by letter, or telephone call if you need some assistance in working that through. Those are all arrangements that will be in place certainly through this phase of the review. And when we move on to the second phase, there'll be further opportunities for that. So we'll move on to some questions on another related topic in the next video.